Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Before we begin, we're going to take a few moments to collect ourselves and to relax before we engage into our discussion. What we need to do is to focus now on bringing positive energy into our lives and into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We have all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our lives will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we can do this is by changing our outlook, meeting every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism, and once you do this, you will see a change in yourself. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons why your life is amazing. You will see the change. You will be changed. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful and think positive. Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in. This is Gloria Lee, the moderator for the show Women of Courage. Wherever you are in the world, I need you to know one thing right now. You are amazing. I know you might be upset. I know you might be hurting. And I know you might be frustrated. I know because all of these things happened to me. I was homeless for 2 years, and all I had was a computer, my son, and a car. I want you to know you still have a purpose in life, and it is my job to help you believe that again. Do you want to believe? Can you see that the divorce was not meant to take you out? Can you believe that the lost house and the lost job is a setup for something greater? By the end of this broadcast, you'll be injected with so much that you cannot help but believe again. And I am going to help you do just that. Are you ready? I got some things I want to share with you. And I will even make suggestions on books and activities that you can implement, which will ultimately bring healing and wholeness to you. If you are ready to be healed, if you're ready to be whole, just jot down the pointers I give and watch your life transform. No matter what happened, no matter whose fault it was, today is a new day, and your time to live and be free is now. Join me in this journey to wholeness. Your time for total healing is now. Today you shall recover. Wholeness, healness, and peacefulness is in the mind. That is where all battles for life end and begin. The Women of Courage show is being broadcast by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help you problem solve, to help you dream again, to help you believe that anything is possible. We want you to believe that you do not have to marry the first man you meet just to get someone to take care of you. You do not have to live a life of drudgery. You can educate yourself. All you have to do is learn to read competently. We want you to take a chance on yourself. Stop believing all the soothsayers around you that have never left the state in their lives. People who do not have courage to fly. People who only think of lying, cheating, and stealing. You can live an exciting life. All you have to do is believe that you can make your dreams come true. You do not have to go to bed with someone you despise day in and day out. You have the right to marry someone that you can talk to someone that believes in you and has faith in you as a human being. In other words, you do not have to settle for just anyone. But what you must do is strive toward your goal. You must be goal oriented. You must organize yourself. You must be clear about what you want in life and why you want such a life. All of us are made up of dreams. As our dreams unfold in our lives, our spirit soars. Realizing our dreams becomes a problem because oftentimes we are beaten down by our friends and family. We are beaten down at school by people laughing at us because of our shoe size, our ear size, our breast size, the clothes we wear, etc. We are beaten down by people saying nothing will come of our lives. We are beaten down when our mothers and grandmothers constantly say that we're going to be just like our father, an inmate in prison. Many of us are also discouraged when our mothers are inattentive. She is wrapped up in her new boyfriend. But life anew is possible. It is my job to encourage you to go as far as you can dream and as far as your dreams can take you. It is my job to get you to believe in life again. I am sick and tired of people failing at life just because they are around negative speaking and negative acting people. Do not let the failure of other people make you lose confidence in yourself. Yes, you may be surrounded by poverty, but you must look for a way out. The book, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, will help you. What you must do above all else is learn to read competently. You must read, and read. Anyone who laughs at you for reading, you need to leave that person alone. I do not care if it's your mother. Anyone who discourages you, you are to stop all association. Man is not different than plants. We need encouragement to grow as plants need water to thrive. You are to leave foolish, stupid people alone. Their ignorance will weigh you down or even get you killed. Sit down and think how you can avoid these people, especially if they're in your family. If you are overwhelmed with the tiring feeling that feels as if you're carrying a bag of stone around every morning when you get out of bed and think how you'll have to spend another living life you're not passionate about, the books I suggest are the perfect solution for your unique needs. Not only will we help you realize why these feelings overwhelm you and what you can do to change it, but they will also teach you how to live a life of strength, courage, fearlessness in order to realize all of your dreams. If you are lacking the attitude and psychology, proper resource or vision to make your dreams a reality, combined with dissatisfaction with the execution of your plans, but you remain firmly dedicated to making your ambition a reality and creating the life you deserve, you will certainly derive the most benefit from professional, incredible content within these books. Contents that will assist you in achieving the results that you are after. You are never to give up on yourself. Are you ready to leave your future to chance? Of course not. Take your life in your hand and learn all the necessary tools mindset, strategies used by the men and women of courage, used in order to live the life of their dream. Change your life with our book starting today.
I can tell you, this will be the hardest thing you have ever experienced. That moment when you decide to risk everything to follow your dreams. But when you realize it is possible, that this is no longer a dream, this is a reality, you will change. The hustle will be born. But you need to believe in the process. Countless hours, sleepless nights, leaving nothing on the table, because we can't let this one fail. We won't let this one fail. We grind because we have to now. We push because we have to now. There is no wait for this dream. Every move is calculated, every decision is planned and executed. You've got one shot to make this count. No room for regrets in this life. We dream big, we push big, we grind big, we live big. So tell me, are you dreaming or are you pushing?
For the next two shows, I'm going to discuss the subject, what I could have done better in my life. Think about it. What could you have done better in your life? I am introducing this subject because I want you to begin thinking about the course of your life. I want you to consider everything that you do each and every day and then ask yourself, where am I going? Just where are you going? Ask yourself, am I going to prison? Or am I on my way to hell? Just where am I going? I want this to be quite a discussion that you have with yourself. You do not have to bring your stupid girlfriend in on this discussion. These thoughts are your own. I want you to consider where you are taking yourself and where you are taking your children. I want you to consider the results of your paying $100 to get your nails done every 2 weeks. What is the result of your buying everything you see, keeping your husband in debt? What is the result of your not spending your money on a tutor to teach your child to read? I want you to consider what happens when you think about committing a crime for money or cheating on your wife or cheating on your husband. I want you to consider all of the bad things that people do to one another. And finally, I want you to think about, do you seriously want to make a decision that will alter the course of your life if you do not succeed in this criminal enterprise? During our discussion, I am going to give you examples of what some people did with their lives and the results. At the end of each discussion, I'm going to read you an essay that I want you to consider. A while back, I mentioned that we can learn from one another. We can learn from the accomplishments of other people, and we can learn from the mistakes of others for growth and prosperity. One area that we definitely can learn from is when a person examines his or her life. Many times, this examination takes the form of regret. Here are a few articles from the headlines of today's newspapers. Think about the regrets these people have after doing what they did. Okay, in one newspaper, the headlines read, 6 teens try to rob a house, police say. After the homeowner shot and killed one, the others ran and were later caught and charged with murder. The robbery occurred July 2019. Juan Swoops, age 14, was shot in the head, and now his friends, 5 teenagers, stand charged with his murder. One of the male teenagers that is charged with murder is his cousin. The oldest robber was a female named Diamond C. Davis. She was 18. She and 3 17-year-olds and one 16-year-old and Juan Swoop broke into an elderly man's home in Lake County, Illinois. The homeowner told them to leave. When they refused, he shot Juan Swoop in the head. The others ran to the car. Now they stand charged with first-degree murder in the death of their friend. This was a very stupid crime. They were teenagers driving a stolen Lexus. The crime was committed August 2019. They were in court for sentencing November 2019. The court wasted no time dealing with these teenagers. Miss Diamond Davis, age 18, was sentenced to 1 year in prison and 1 year of parole for the charge of conspiracy to commit burglary. The charge of first-degree murder was dropped. This was indeed a tragedy because the child that was killed, Juan Swoops, his older cousin, was in on the robbery. His cousin will carry this crime around with him for the rest of his life. Every time he meets with a family member, he will remember his 14-year-old cousin. This crime did not have to happen. Those 6 teenagers could have found something else to do with their time instead of plotting a burglary and stealing a car. The next headline, the story was about 2 people who had degrees, but they were convicted in the murder of a drug dealer. Apparently, the man and woman were customers of this drug dealer. The couple was at the drug dealer's home, and they seized the opportunity to rob him. They stole his Rolex watch and killed him. What is ironic about this story is both people that were charged in this murder had degrees in psychology. The female had a master's degree. Well, anyway, July 6, 2020, Christopher McDonald, who had a first-class degree in psychology, was found guilty of murdering Mr. Tong and guilty of conspiracy to rob. After a retrial, Christopher McDonald was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 32 years that he must serve. His acquaintance, Alicia Ellis, who also had a criminology master's degree in psychology, was sentenced to 13 years in jail for manslaughter and conspiracy to rob. She was not convicted of the robbery. Now, how long do you think it will take these 2 people to regret their conduct? The victim, Mr. Tong, who was age 54, he was beaten to death with a barbell. Mr. Paul Tong was known to leave money and drugs lying around in his room, and there were rumors that he was well off, that he had lots of money. Mr. Paul Tong was described as being a flash watcher, and a former partner told police that he kept watches around, including a Rolex, designer clothes, and jewelry at his home that he shared with his aunt. An empty Rolex box with Alicia Ellis's fingerprints was found, and that is what tied the couple to the murder. Sometimes a person needs to check themselves and ask themselves, did I make a good decision? What was influencing me at the time I made this decision? Who was I talking to when I made this decision? Who helped me make this decision? Do I trust the person? Do they have my best interest at heart when they help me make this decision? Shakira Graham of Cleveland, Ohio, was one such person that should have asked herself a lot of questions before she did what she did. Apparently, she thought she was smart and would be able to get away with a horrific crime. She probably thought her idea was brilliant and clever and that no one would know it was her that committed murder. Well, she was wrong because she was arrested February 19th, 2019 by federal marshals and she was charged with aggravated murder. The man she murdered was killed December 17th, 2018. It took the police approximately 2 months to find her. Shakira Graham was 24 years old when she was arrested. Let us see how old she will be when she gets out of prison. Shakira Graham was charged with killing 27-year-old Misha Cornwell on December 17, 2018 in his home on Darlington Avenue in Ohio. Unknown to Miss Graham, the police had worked diligently for 2 months to solve the murder case of Mr. Cornwell. They did not write him off as just another murder victim. The police took pride in solving this murder. Mr. Cornwell was not going to be just another murder statistic. He had a mother who loved him, and she wanted to know who had killed her son and why, and the police were bound and determined to give her these answers. This is what Miss Graham did. She came up with a brilliant idea to make her some extra money. She would meet a person on a dating site, get involved with that person, and finally get them to invite them to their home, then kill and rob her victim. Sounds smart, right? Wrong. If she was so smart, how did she get caught? Shakira Graham met Michelle Cornwell on a dating website. Then she stayed over at his home on December 15, 2018. 2 days later, Miss Graham returned to Mr. Cornwell's home. She shot and killed him. Then she stole various items from his residence. A jury found Miss Graham guilty of murder, felonious assault, grand theft, and receiving stolen property. So how smart was Shakira Graham? She was not smart enough to go get her a job and go back to school to make her money, nor was she smart enough to pull off a robbery and murder. Shakira Graham, age 25, a pastor's daughter and a mother of 2 children, was sentenced March 20th to life in prison with a chance of parole after serving 25 years in prison. A jury on February 28, 2020 found her guilty of aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, aggravated burglary, and several other felony charges in the death of Misha Cornwell. She shot him multiple times. Graham stole several guns, a TV, and a 2008 Honda Accord after the shooting, according to the prosecutors. Shakira Graham's lawyer said that he was going to appeal the case. In all likelihood, her appeal will be denied. She will receive her first parole hearing in the year 2045. Her children will be grown, and she will be weary after serving 25 years in prison. And the parole board may not grant her parole. It just depends. Now, I want you to listen to the impact statement made by Mr. Cornwell's mother, Jacqueline Harrington. Imagine she arrived home and found her son shot multiple times in the basement. Kira Graham killed this man who she didn't know he was actually a stranger for items that he possessed. How cold-hearted she was. Now here's the impact statement that Mr. Cornwell's mother made in court.
Welcome back to Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. I'm Julie Grant. We are watching a sentencing hearing in Cleveland, Ohio for another dating app murder trial. This is a different case than the one where we're covering the jury selection for in Florida. Right now, walking up to the stand, the victim's mother. Let's listen in live.
Jacqueline Harrigan, Harrigan. On December 17th, I boarded a plane at 8 o'clock. My life was fine. I got off that plane around 9:30, December 17th. My life was fine. I put my keys in my side door, and as I entered my home, I found my 27-year-old son at the bottom of the stairs. That was the impact that affected my life until this very day, until the day I die. Meshach, I was blessed to be Meshach's mom. He was the best thing that ever happened to me. People always used to compliment me about how wonderful my son was. He never gave me no problems, Your Honor, besides a speeding ticket or going to traffic court. You understand me. I had a wonderful son. He loved his mother. We had a good relationship. Meshach was loving and Meshach was kind. He loved to laugh. He enjoyed going to work. He's the only person I know loved going to work. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and all he keep asking the doctor is, when are you going to relieve me to go to work? The doctor says, you're the only person I know who want to go to work. Most people ask me for days off. You asking me to go to work. That's how committed he was to his job. He enjoyed playing his PlayStation. He enjoyed computers. He enjoyed eating pizza. He enjoyed drinking different beers. I got turned on to Great Lake Beer because of my son. Every year, a flavor come out, he brought it to the house. Our family is very small, Your Honor. My mother only had 4 kids. There's only 3 of us left. Me and my sister only had 1 child apiece. I lost my son on December 17th. He never forgot a birthday. He never forgot a Christmas. He never forgot a Mother's Day. He gave the best gift. My son was getting his credit together. He wanted to buy a house in a couple of years. Your Honor, my life right now is filled with sorrow, pain, an everlasting yearning for what I could never have back. I sat here for 2 weeks, and my heart grieved for this young lady, even though she took my son away, because she is just so foolish and ignorant to waste her life and to take my son's life. And for what? A PlayStation, some weed, a liquor, 2 guns. I mean, how long did that last her? A day? Come on now, they said they threw her out the hotel the next day. So how long did that money last her? She took my son's life, Your Honor. I am asking the court to give this young lady the harshest penalty you can give her for taking my 27-year-old son. That's all I have to say, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I think Mom is the only one that is going to end up speaking. Judge, I think I said this to the jury, and I get reminded.
I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now for my break. One of the most effective ways of getting ahead in life is by learning from the mistakes and successes of other people. This way, one can avoid the mistakes other people have made and possibly achieve success faster. This is one of the reasons why you cannot afford not to read the series Women of Courage. In this series of books, the lives and times of several women were chronicled who by sheer courage conquered the world around them. These women are examples of the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "When a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, which is the world, and takes him boldly by the beard, he is often surprised to find out that the beard comes off in his hand and that it was only tied on to scare away the timid adventurer." These are ordinary women like all of us, but they were determined to do extraordinary things. From the stories of their lives, you will learn how to stop making and living a mediocre life and start conquering your world and living on your own terms. For them, failure was not an option. Rather, it was an opportunity to refire and reach for their goals again. They have shown tremendous courage, so much that their lives could easily serve as a template for other women to emulate. Your primary starting point is believing in yourself and encouraging yourself even in the face of failure and naysayers. Thomas Edison failed numerous times, but he kept going. Finally, he won and invented the light bulb and other inventions. The same with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln failed at politics many times. He even ran for dog catcher and lost, but he kept running for public office until he was elected president. One thing about the series Women of Courage, the books are not ordinary books. These books will challenge you, push you, and of course inspire you to gain your life again. Remember, a man is what he thinks about all day. So said Ralph Waldo Emerson. Dear male listeners, our show may be called Women of Courage, but our name should not stop you from listening to our show. You have as much to learn and to consider as women. Why? Because many of you are fathers, sons, and brothers. And you need to understand those forces and situations that affect the female members of your family. So we do implore you to listen to our show with an ear for understanding. Thank you. Why you need to go register and vote. The presidential election will soon be here, and I have encountered several people who have said they are not going to vote in this election because none of the candidates are honorable or scripturally correct. While these qualities are highly desirable in candidates, we live in an age where few people involved in politics can claim any of these traits. My answer to these people is as follows. As a member of this society, you need to get out and vote. Your vote counts. It is our right to stand up against wrong in any way we can. Our government is a republic in which We are given the responsibility to vote for people to represent us. As a believer in the rule of law, we have to stand up against evil in any way we can. So we need to ask ourselves, are we for the constitutional qualities that honor the rule of law, or are we against it? If so, then you need to vote. Why complain? Vote. President Hussein Barack Obama tweeted to all of us that we all should vote. In November, it will be in your hands. Vote. Hi, I decided that at the end of every show for the next year, I would share excerpts from a book that I believe would enhance your life and make you a stronger thinker and problem solver. All characteristics that will help you win at life and raise stronger and healthy children. Many of you turn your nose up at reading, or you snub the advice that you must read in life to succeed, or you compare the cost of a book to getting a new pair of shoes or getting your hair done or your nails done. The reason why you make these cost comparisons is because you do not truly value a book. A book is a magnificent instrument that can change the course of your life and the lives of your children. In later shows, I plan to discuss with you how a book changed the lives of certain people. I understand that you do not earn a lot of money, and this money is valuable to you because of all the things you see advertised that you desire, and you do not want to spend a lot of money on a book. A new pair of shoes is more valuable to you than a book. If you truly cannot afford a book, then you need to go to the library and take your children with you for a day of reading. You must gird your loins and proceed at educating yourself. Some of you seem to think that having a conversation with your stupid girlfriend or your stupid boyfriend will help you more than reading a book, when actually having a conversation with your loudmouth girlfriend or loudmouth boyfriend is merely a cathartic, allowing you to blow off steam and proclaim how life has been so unfair to you. What you do not realize is that the advice coming from your do-nothing girlfriend or your do-nothing boyfriend is advice coming from a fool. Your do-nothing girlfriend is a sexual opportunist looking for a man she can impress with her body. When her vagina fails her, what will your girlfriend do but go to work at McDonald's or Wendy's at the age of 60 and continue to spread her ignorance at church? Her daughter will be on the street and her son in prison. She will never realize that her life is the result of the decision she made not to educate herself through reading. All her life she felt that she had something better to do than reading. She had something better to do than reading with her children. She had something better to do than working with her children. And that was going to the bar, trying to entertain a man, or trying to find some man that would buy her a pair of shoes. A man spending money on her was more important than educating herself. In later shows, I'm going to spend a great deal of time giving you some examples of fools. These are people who think they are smart, willing to trade their body and integrity for a dollar bill. These people end up in the cemetery after lamenting each and every day of their lives about their unfulfilled dreams. Do not be upset by the use of the word fool. You tell me if a woman is not a fool to instruct her grandson to kill her husband for a $25,000 life insurance. Let that sink in for a moment. Instead of instructing her grandson to make something of his life, the grandmother instructs her grandson to become a murderer, to kill his grandfather. I have this anecdotal advice for you about reading. Listen to this short true story. A friend and I were talking. She said a woman she knew called her and sought to renew their friendship. During their conversation, the woman told my friend that President Trump had done so much for black people, and that's why she voted for him in 2016, and she was going to vote for him again in the upcoming election. My friend asked her a question. She said, "Tell me some of the things that Trump has done for black people." The woman said, "A whole lot." My friend persisted and asked her to name one thing that Trump had done for black people. The woman could not. The woman kept using the phrase, "a whole lot of things." My friend said after a while she stopped talking. Finally, the conversation was over and my friend hung up. My friend said, as she hung up, she made up her mind right then that she would never renew her friendship with this woman. Now ask yourself why. Why would she not renew her friendship with this woman? You can answer this question in 2 words. The woman was a poor thinker. She never investigated anything that was told to her. Whether you know it or not, a person who is a poor thinker, who does not examine his or her thinking, is a very dangerous person indeed. Think about it. Today, we are going to discuss the book entitled, You Are the Prophet of Your Life. This is an excellent book to read. It is filled with encouragement and insight into how you should support yourself and how you can advance yourself in life. This is a great read.
Please take a moment to listen to these alarming statistics. According to a recent New York Times article, the U.S. suicide rate surged to a 30-year high in 2015. In fact, in the last 15 years alone, the suicide rate for girls aged 10 to 14 tripled. Middle-aged women saw a 63% increase. And for middle-aged men, the rate grew by 43%. These statistics are devastating. People of all ages and walks of life are unhappy, desperate, and without hope. And the problem is getting worse. My name is Gloria Lee, and I'm here to tell you that there is an answer. You are the prophet of your life. You can control your destiny and shape your future. You can live a better, more fulfilling life. You can change the course you're on. You Are the Prophet of Your Life is a new book that I've written and that I am glad to be able to share with you or anyone you know who may be personally suffering. Nobody needs to suffer in silence. This book will show you how to be the author of a new chapter in your life. It will show you what you need to do to be happy, successful, and sure of yourself and your future. I have found that it's in your darkest hours that you can discover your true self, the brilliant light within all of us that can never, ever be dimmed. You learn how to make informed decisions that will enrich your soul, enlighten your mind, and show you that you have the capacity to make permanent, positive changes in your life. You are the prophet of your life. Many of us live our lives, but few live their dreams. As prophets of our lives, we have the capacity. We can also attain our most lofty dreams. Ask yourself, do you want to have rewarding personal relationships? Do you want to run a successful business? Do you want to raise a beautiful, happy family? Whatever your dreams are, they are all possible if you have the roadmap, the set of instructions on how to achieve these goals. You have them now in You Are the Prophet of Your Life. No one has to live a life of mediocrity, settling with whatever comes their way. This book provides practical guidance on how you can move from just dreaming of having a better life into making it become your reality. Please join me in watching this short video on how you can realize that you really are the prophet of your life. Listen, negative thoughts interfere with the wonderful life you are meant to live. You Are the Prophet of Your Life will show you how to live positively no matter what your current situation is. Don't let problems stand in your way of a happy and successful life. Learn how to overcome even the most difficult challenges you may face. Think of your life from today on as a new building in which you are the architect. You are the builder of the greatest life you can live. It's up to you to determine what course your life takes starting today. Because, my friend, you are truly the prophet of your life. Every day life throws challenges at us, and it's how we choose to handle them that makes all the difference. You can decide the course of your life from today onward. You can be your own prophet. Some of the key messages discussed in the book include being consistent in what you say and what you believe. A problem that most of us are guilty of is inconsistency. We are destined to fail when we allow negative thoughts and beliefs to impact what we say, not only to ourselves, but to others. Being inconsistent in one's beliefs translates to sowing seeds of doubt and unbelief. The famous saying is true that whatever you sow, you will reap. Always endeavor to be consistent in what you say and speak to others exuding faith, happiness, and wellness. Being pessimistic is dangerous. Do you get up in the morning telling yourself it's going to be a horrible day? No matter how bad your yesterday was, it should never stop you from being optimistic today. Being a pessimist is a recipe for suffering. It prevents you from seeing the positives in your life. You must realize that you are in control of what you think. Most importantly, positive thoughts lead to positive actions. Why get up in the morning telling yourself it's going to be a horrible day? Why tell yourself you are meant for the doom and not the fortune? Being pessimistic sets you up for a miserable life. It prevents you from seeing the positives in your life. You must realize that you're in control of what you think. Most importantly, you must always remember it is positive thinking that will make you a better person. The importance of reading scriptures. You don't need to believe in God to read scriptures. There are lessons that anyone can learn and gain inspiration from. Reading the Bible can help liberate you from negative thinking. God's words exude hope and positivity. God tells man that he can look forward to a great life by living righteously and not violating others. Nothing is as powerful as this. The need to investigate your emotions. Being the prophet of your life involves you being in control of your emotions. Investigating our emotions requires self-examination, which for some is painful. Most of us are scared to make mistakes, so we hesitate to make tough decisions. No matter how difficult investigating your emotions can be, you must never shy away from it. When you are not in touch with your emotions, you are destined to live a life out of control. Take control of your life. Taking authority over your life involves you investigating your emotions. A lot of us fail in this regard. Investigating our emotions requires self-examination, which is usually painful. Apart from this, most of us are scared of making mistakes. Thus, we tend to prefer to oscillate back and forth between two kingdoms than taking tough decisions. Irrespective of how difficult investigating your emotions can be, you must never shy away from it. When you do not investigate your emotions, you are inviting others to take control of your life. You are the prophet of your life. A lot of us have found ourselves in threatening scenarios: a cheating husband or a cheating wife, an unwanted pregnancy, extreme poverty, and many others. We were faced with making decisions which could either make us or mar us. While some of us were able to scale through, others weren't lucky enough. Well, it's not that the women that couldn't make it through were foolish or less deserving. Most of the time, they were just unlucky to be victims of the weak belief system of the society we find ourselves. By living positively, you can solve a number of personal problems that could stand in your way of a happy and successful life. Think of your life as a new building for which you are the architect. You can decide how many bathrooms or bedrooms you put in there. Think of your life as a vehicle for which you are the driver. You can decide when to stop or accelerate. Think of your life as a ship on a stormy sea, for which you are the sailor. You have to sail to safety, otherwise the ship will capsize. Only you can determine your course. Only you can decide which direction you want to go. You can liberate yourself. The book, You Are the Prophet of Your Life, was written to help people all across the world to stand and confront the monsters in our lives for the sake of the future of our children. This book takes into cognizance the millions of people in the world who have lost their lives solely because they were poor and were unable to control their environment. If the book, You Are the Prophet of Your Life, has a positive change on just one person's life and saves them from living a life full of hopelessness and despair, then it will have been worth it to me. But I know the impact this way of life has already had on me, and my goal is to share the message with as many people suffering as possible. This book is for everyone, male or female. This is the story of your life, and you are its only writer. Let You Are the Prophet of Your Life be your companion to help guide you through life's obstacles. Let it be the beacon of light to awaken your best you. A Chinese proverb says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You should never be afraid of taking the bold step. You want a change of career at 40? Go for it. You need to acquire a new skill to boost your income? Go for it. You love someone but are scared to tell them? Come on, do it now. No one would kill you for that. It's the story of your life. You don't let anyone else but you be the writer. You can look beyond the facade of whatever despair and disappointment you are currently facing. Don't ever look down on yourself. If you ever have to look down, make sure it's your shoes you're admiring. You need a companion to help you through life. You need a companion to help make your decision-making a lot easier. That companion is You Are the Prophet of Your Life. Read a copy now and live the life you've always wanted. We at Touched by the Light Publishing hope you enjoyed our presentation and realize you can enjoy a more fruitful and fun-filled life after reading You Are the Prophet of Your Life.
The first essay is entitled, What I Could Have Done Better in My Life. My fellow women, have you ever, upon your life, reached a situation so tormenting, so disheartening, that you look back and wish painfully for what you could have done better in your life? We all have flaws. Some flaws the world shoves onto us, and others we choose for ourselves just because we do not think of some better way out. I understand our society is more patriarchal and does not make women a priority. Women across the states of America and the entire world always suffer the victims in love relationships, economic instabilities, injustices, and education. When we experience problems, do we take a break and think, what can I do better in my life? Or the thoughts to commit a crime, to revenge is the thirst to come into our mind. Many women have received the invitations to retaliate in evil ways that eventually cause enormous pain and regret in their lives. Perhaps you are such a woman who fell into this trap of fascination and ended in prison. Or maybe you are almost headed there because you cannot control your thoughts to stay away from crime. My interaction with convicted women have taught me a lot. They all and always regretfully confirm that criminal acts are never the best solution to offer to the problem we face. Even when we suffer the worst, there is one thing we can do right to better our lives. The world will only make our problems worse and worse, especially if we keep solving our problems with another. One of the inmates once reported to me that life in prison is not anything any woman should hope to achieve. It is devastating and dehumanizing. It denies you the world you so much thought you were fighting to gain. Think of your children, think of your family, and you will realize there are many better ways you can or could have done things in your life to avoid going to prison. What can you do differently as a woman? Well, when one goes to prison, one of the rehabilitation activities is physical engagement to acquire necessary skills for labor production. Do you have to go to jail to achieve an education or essential skills? No. When poverty beckons, we need to use our energy to educate ourselves while our freedom lasts. What is it that you can do as a single person not to push yourself into committing a crime? Take inspiration from many of the women in the community who work. Despite being a single woman, many of them do not commit any crime. They use their hand skills and strength to care for their children. These women, through hard work, excel as women, as mothers, and as parents. You are not an exception. Just find the strength to get rid of your tempting evil thoughts and do something better for your life. Value education and see it as the stronger savior. With a good education, you can learn better ways to avoid some cases of unplanned motherhood. You can also acquire labor skills that you need to fend for yourself without committing a crime. Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. for information that will change your life. You can also visit us at our website, touchedbythelight.us, for more information.